Thanks so much for joining us today.
For
Really
sure.
look forward to hearing your thoughts on everything The Apprentice
Yeah.
related. First question, how did it feel being fired when you were fired? What was going through your head at that moment?
So if you watch the episode, you can actually see while Lord Sugar's talking to me and he's doing his little speech before he fires me, I've got a bit of a smile on my face because when it came to that moment, I actually was like, look, Virdi, you're up against Felicia and Rachel, who have never lost a task before, and that was their first loss. Virdi, you lost 7 times, and Lord Sugar kept you in as much as he possibly can. Maybe it's your time now. And I was just thinking about how proud I was of myself, of getting that far and doing what I did in the process. So at the end of the day, I was proud of myself. And when you fired me and him saying stay in touch, it was amazing. And you know what? It all ended in a better way than I thought it would have.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about that. So the stay in touch comment, what was your relationship like with Lord Sugar? Because it clearly seems on the screen as if you guys had some sort of special connection.
I think I got to credit me losing 7 times and building that special connection because the fact that I got to spend more time with him, really showing my personality and really making him understand as much as I'm a solid businessman, I'm also a young guy who wants to do whatever it takes to make it in the business industry. And that's why I said to Lord Sugar, when you look at me, I know you see your younger self in me because I was 24 when I was actually filming the process. And I was like, I'm someone that wants to make it in the business world and I've got so many ideas and I want someone like you to help me make it in the industry. And I feel like he saw that and I feel like he had that little soft spot for me, hence why he kept me in. After task one people thought I should have been fired. Task 5, people thought I should have been fired. But I stayed in. And finally, when we went to task 7, I feel like he kind of had no choice but to fire me. But him saying stay in touch just gave that approval of, Virdi, I know you're going to do well and let's talk in the future.
And have you stayed in touch?
At the moment, we haven't really spoke or anything. But for me, I'm on my own path and I'm ready to take it on to the next level. And when something does make sense, I definitely will get back in touch for sure. This won't be the last you see of myself and Lord Sugar.
That's an interesting thing to say. I look forward to see where it's going. So I wanted to also ask you about the other side of this, which is the fact that you did lose 7 tasks in a row. How did that feel during your time on The Apprentice? Like, what was it like consistently turning up to that sad-looking cafe?
You know what? I always try to take a positive spin out of everything. And losing every week, I started to say to myself, right, you're not really losing unless you're getting fired. Other than that, you're spending more time with Lord Sugar to get to know him and he's getting to know you more as well. And he's remembering your name, he's remembering your face because at the end of the day, it starts with 18 candidates and to be remembered like I was after the first episode, because I had lost and went to the bottom 3, I feel like I put a statement across. May have not been in the best way, but in somewhat of a way for him to remember me. So it actually got to a point where it was not too bad, and I actually started liking the caf. To be fair, it was quite enjoying being in there. So yeah, it was all good.
How did you feel when you saw kind of reactions online and from viewers that felt like you should have gone week 1?
For me is that I'm quite confident and I know my worth when it comes to my business knowledge and what I've done in the past and what I've got planned for the future. And what I say to myself to just remind myself when I saw these comments online of me being fired, I'd say one of the biggest businessmen in the United Kingdom chose not to fire me. So what will someone behind the screen really have an opinion about me being fired? If Lord Sugar thinks I should stay, what does it matter what anyone else thinks? So that's what I use to motivate me as well.
And then when it comes to your sort of performance on the tasks, what do you feel prevented you from getting that win? Or do you feel like you did everything you could?
So I'll say what was the issue of actually winning that task was the fact that Felicia had a responsibility to choose the locations. When we chose our first location, I did say to her, Felicia, look, the footfall isn't really the greatest right now. And the reception, I feel like we were in an area where a lot of people were traveling into work and out from work, whereas it wasn't an area where people maybe stop for their lunch or have a little stroll. It wasn't really like that. So I wanted to get out of that area and let's go to somewhere else. Felicia took a long time to actually decide to do that. And I feel like we wasted a lot of time where we could have been in somewhere where people were probably more responsive to have a conversation. And doing that, I feel like that affected us on actually winning the task because we had to panic sell at the end for such a lower cost.
Yeah. And then looking back on the whole competition, do you have any particular moments that you wish you're done differently or any regrets?
I don't really have any regrets. You just learn from it. And I don't think I would have done anything differently because end of the day, I was 100% authentic to myself. I always put myself forward. I wouldn't shy away. And I really feel like if I put myself forward and I do my very best to do whatever I can to try win the task, and I get fired because of that, fair play, because at the end of the day, I'll hold my hands up and saying I gave it my all. But I'd rather get fired like that than stay behind everyone else, not really contribute, and then get fired because of that.
Do you have any memories of kind of a moment where you really put yourself maybe out of your comfort zone to kind of volunteer yourself for anything, or anything particularly that you were proud of doing?
You know what, I gotta say, let's take it back to Task 1 Scotland and doing the abseiling. I am so scared of heights, and you could probably see me. I thought I was halfway down, and I think I was only like 3 meters down the top, and like that was massive for me. And the reason why I did that, honestly, the only reason I did that is because I wanted to show to Steve, Trey, and Paul B that I'm PM, and even though I might be scared of this, I want to set an example that I am a leader and I'm going to face my fear. So you guys, as my teammates and my team, should do the same. So I wanted to set an example. That's why I just did it.
And then looking ahead to the competition, obviously I know that you aren't allowed to know anything more from when you were left, but I'm just wondering, what was the atmosphere like week 7? Sort of, had things changed? Were things getting more competitive with the housemates? How was everyone feeling?
I feel like the competitive mindset stayed throughout for everyone. And the main thing is we all respected each other as business people. Everyone either runs a successful business or comes from a very successful business background. So everyone had the capabilities to actually win the whole process. Week 7, there was less and less people. And it got to a point where it was just getting, not more real, but it was getting more like, right, anyone could get fired now. Like, with the first few weeks have gone where people are kind of scared or not trying to get fired, because I feel like in the process, a lot of people try not to get fired rather than try to actually win, if that makes sense. They try to do things that won't get them fired, whereas I was trying to do things to win. I was trying to do things to make sure I can show Low Sugar I am his perfect business partner.
When it comes to your fellow contestants that were still left in the competition when you left, who did you have your eye on back then of making it to the final, and who do you think might be successful and why?
I feel like we've got a very strong bunch of candidates this year. I'll say Paul M, the dentist, he's doing really well, coming across very, very well. And he's already running a successful dental practice. And I feel like he's destined for greatness, so I'm rooting for him. Phil, the guy who lost 7 tasks with me, big up to him, because for him, I want him to go and win, not just for him, but for us, because we and him lost all those tasks together. So I want him to go and do it for us. And so I've got a lot of respect for Phil as well. So yeah, I'm rooting for them guys.